So, Dragon Age the Veilguard, we're still talking about it because people like the actor, or actress rather, want to bring it up and keep claiming that the fans are the reason the game failed. So, that's always a surefire way to build trust again with the company or with actors or whoever. Just keep blaming the fans. Don't take any responsibility. I mean, it's current day. Why would anyone take responsibility for their failure of a game? But Dragon Age actor blames the fans for the Veilguard backlash, claims people just wanted to see BioWare fail. No, we didn't want to see BioWare fail. No. In fact, when the game was first announced, people were excited. Why? Because it had been a while since we had a Dragon Age game. People slowly became disappointed when they saw that the title was no longer Dreadwolf, which, you have a character like Solus who is loved, great character, great development, and people want to see him as like the villain. But instead, we get Dragon Age the Veilguard. We see Solus in like for 5 minutes, and then it's like, whoop, he takes the back seat to the evil elven gods. So, taking a character that has so much development, who has still more possibility, and having him take a backseat to the cliche elven gods. No. People were pissed. Between that, the gameplay, which was horrible. I mean, the puzzles looked like they were written by, created by a 5-year-old. It's like, oh, take this thing right here, and then just walk a few feet away. Walk a few feet away, and you put it there. Or you take this thing, and you turn it that much. It was all kindergarten stuff. In a game, it's supposed to challenge you, but the puzzles are like, gee, I wonder what you're supposed to do. Combat was repetitive. The characters were unrelatable. The romances, people were like, have any of these people ever flirted with anyone or had been flirted with anyone before? Because the romancing basically just sounds like they read a fanfic and then it made a fanfic of that fanfic and then slapped Dragon Age on it. You have terrible character development. We have Tosh, one of the worst written characters ever. This is like a medieval fantasy type game, and then you have someone like Tosh who's bringing up current day terminology like non-binary constantly throughout the game, bitching about, oh, do you know what it's like not to be comfortable with who you are? Clearly she was a self-insert, and then they wonder why people complain about the game. You have crap like more modern stuff like top surgery scars. It's like, how are you? It's medieval fantasy. Why would there even be top surgery scars? It makes no sense. But you have like the character creation. They're like, oh, well, we want to be diverse and, representation and all that. But yet, you can make a man just fine. You can make androgynous just fine. You can make trans just fine. But if you wanted to make a biological female, if you were above an 8-cup chest, you were shit out of luck. Because they didn't give you the ability to make a larger bust or a bigger ass. So if you had less, if you had bigger than an 8-cup, you were shit out of luck, and you didn't get that representation you wanted. Because they had the men just fine, androgynous, and they had that trans representation. Biological females, fuck them. Fuck them. So that kind of drew a lot of backlash as well. But instead of coming out and saying, oh, hey guys, we understand that some of you are upset, but just try the game. And regardless of the flaws you think it has, we firmly believe that it's still going to be a good game and that you'll enjoy it. No, they don't do that. Instead, they come out and, oh, you're just a bunch of phobes, isms. If you don't like it, don't play it. It's not meant for you, and blah, blah, blah. And then when the game fails, they sit there, shocked Pikachu face. How did this fail? Because you people don't know when to shut up. Dragon Age actress is blaming fans for backlash against the Veilguard. In the wake of Dragon Age: The Veilguard's disastrous reception, one of the franchise's most recognizable voices is pointing fingers, not at the game's direction, story, or development team, but at the very fans who once held BioWare in high regard. Alex Fulton Reagan, best known for voicing the female Inquisitor in Dragon Age Inquisition and returning in Veilguard, has weighed in on the fallout surrounding the title's lukewarm performance. Speaking to IGN, Reagan was absolutely devastated by the reception and claimed that Dragon Age to Veilguard's backlash was driven by people who just wanted to see BioWare fail. No one wanted to see them fail. Again, when the game was first announced, people were excited because it had been the first Dragon Age game in how long? So no one is going to hear about a new Dragon Age game and be like, "Oh man, I can't wait for it to fail. I hope BioWare fails. I want to see them crash." No, no one's like, "Yes, Dragon Age game. It's been how many years? Like 10 years or something like that. We get a new game." No one at first was like, "Oh, fuck BioWare. I hope they crash and burn." Ugh. No, only after BioWare decided to come out and start saying, "Oh, the game's not meant for you. Don't like it, don't play it. Oh, you're just a bunch of phobes, isms." Only then did people say, "You know what? Fuck BioWare. Fuck them. Who cares? Fuck them." I feel absolutely devastated for BioWare as a studio that they got such mixed reactions to a game. I personally thought it was a really strong. Of course, because you worked on it. Naturally, you're going to be fucking jerking it off. I thought it was just BioWare being more BioWare. According to Reagan, the backlash wasn't due to questionable creative choices or tonal departure from the Dragon Age titles, but rather due to really bad people on the internet. Again, never hold the company accountable. Never take responsibility. Just hold up that shield and deflect all criticism and just throw back, "Oh, you're just a bunch of phobes, it's isms," and it's always the fans' fault. Never take responsibility or accountability for your failure of a project. No, just blame everyone else. I also think a lot of people kind of wanted to see it fail. No one wanted to see it fail at first. No one wanted to see it fail at first. Again, it was the first Dragon Age game that people have gotten in a while. No one wanted to see it fail. But then when they come out and show, stupid crap like the pronouns and top surgery scars, people are playing the game and they're seeing how bad the game is between the combat, the writing, the fact that Solus took a backseat to the fucking Elven Gods when people wanted him to be the villain of the game. The fact that the game is linear, they put all this effort into making the areas look super pretty, but you don't get to explore any of it because it's a linear game. It has you on a set path. You might have like a pathway that diverges, but it's not an open area game. It's not a sandbox game where you can just go wherever the fuck you want. No, it's a linear path. The places you go to are closed in. You have your invisible walls and all that crap. So you have all this beautiful scenery in the background, but you never get to see it up close because it's a linear game. But yeah, it's totally the fans' fault. Want to see people fail or want to see BioWare fail? Either because they're just really bad people on the internet, which there are unfortunately many, as we have discovered. The characterization of the criticism, however, runs counter to the actual feedback players have provided since launch. While critics largely gave the game favorable reviews, fans rejected Veilguard's shift in tone, inconsistent character design, and overt prioritization of ideological messaging over meaningful world building or storytelling. Yeah, again, this is like a medieval fantasy type setting, and you got to listen to fucking Tosh whine the entire game about how she's non-binary and how she doesn't feel comfortable in her body and blah blah blah. Clearly self-insert. One of the worst written characters, not just in Veilguard, but maybe in gaming in general. Then you have those fucking scenes of, "What are you doing?" "Pulling a bomb." Just, but yeah, it's totally the fans' fault that the company decided to put that in. Yeah, it's totally the fans' fault. Reagan went on to announce early criticism of the game, labeling it as premature and baseless. People were attacking the game before it was released. It's ridiculous. How can you judge a game, a book, film, or TV show before it's actually released? You can't. Well, when you see certain things and you hear certain things coming from developers and they're behaving a certain way, and you can just compare that to things that people have done in the past and you can draw similar conclusions. I mean, it's not hard. It's not hard. When a game comes out and you have the developers or whoever attacking fans saying, oh, you're a bunch of phobes, isms, don't like it, don't play it, the game's not meant for you, that game always fails. Because why? Because no one is going to support a company who comes out and attacks the very people who are supposed to be playing the game. So, when we see stuff like this, the top surgery scars, and people are like, why do you have top surgery scars in a medieval fantasy game? And they come out like, oh, what's the matter? You fucking transphobes. Don't like it, don't play it. People are going to be like, okay, I won't play it. What? Why is nobody playing the game? Well, you told them not to play. You told them not to play. What, you think they're going to be rebellious and play the game just because you said... No, you said not to play the game. They didn't play the game. I mean, come on. But many fans argue that they were reacting to marketing material and developer interviews that telegraphed the game's priorities from the outset, including the now infamous announcement of a genderless party member and a player option to choose a gender-neutral identity mid-game. Not to mention the ability to add surgical scars on the chest in the character creator. Because, just like they had back in the old days, in medieval times, everyone was well known for having top surgery scars. These announcements weren't made quietly, but were front and center in pre-release press cycles, inviting scrutiny from longtime BioWare followers who felt the game was prioritizing modern identity themes at the expense of narrative depth. The Dragon Age Veilguard Backlash reached its peak in January when EA admitted the game had just underperformed by 50%, falling drastically short of expectations. Days later, game director Corinne Bush departed the company, and BioWare began laying off key staff. No future updates or expansions for Veilguard are planned. So you have the shit game that you had to buy for $70, no DLC, no expansions, no nothing. Have fun. That was another thing people were complaining about. But no, it's the fans' fault, right? Not BioWare's fault for charging $70 for this game, and they had no intention on, DLC or expansions. Or no. It's the fans' fault. I only ever want to see the folks from BioWare thrive because I adore them. And whatever they go on to do next, I have no doubt their talents will be richly rewarded. And here's how. We're really lucky we'll get more... Quit fucking lying. We're real lucky we'll get more gold from them in the future. That future currently rests with Mass Effect 5, which people are fearing majorly. A project still in development with no announced release window. As for the Veilguard, it's likely to be remembered as a game that broke from BioWare tradition and paid the price. Some woke VA is upset the Veilguard flopped. Good. The best you can do is you're judging it on how it looks. Try to convince people that this garbage is actually good. You can judge a game before its release if you have eyes and a working brain. I do want BioWare to fail. They are full of activists and haven't made anything good in decades. Again, nowadays you can it's kind of like with Ubisoft. When you see certain themes, when you see female characters who have more manly appearances, you see inserts of pronouns and stuff like that, the game comes out and then you see, oh wow, this game really fucking sucks. So you can take that and apply it to other situations. And then more times than not, you're going to be right. When people saw the pronouns, when people saw the top surgery scars, people can say, oh, that's just a character creation. How do you know it's going to be like that in the entire game? And blah, blah, blah. And then you have Tosh, who for the entire game whines about being non-binary and not being comfortable with who she is. You also have Tosh basically assault or sexually assaulting others in their romance when she just puts them against the wall and like, quick, think about us having sex. It's like, I'm sorry, did I consent to this? Because aren't you people the ones who are like, consent? But no, you have this non-binary character thrusting you against the wall and like, quick, think about us having sex. And it's just so awkward and uncomfortable. You have her and Emmerich going back and forth, and she's like blood mage or blood death guy or whatever. And Emmerich clearly not liking being called that. He's like, can you please not call me that? But she's like, but that's what you are. And I would just turn around and be like, all right, Tosh, you're a woman. Why are you calling me that? Because that's what you are. You're a woman. So she wanted all the respect, but she wanted to give none in return. Most unlikable fucking character in Dragon Age. It's pretty bad that even the villain of Solus has more character and charm. She was clearly a self-insert. But coming out and it may be long after the games come out, but when you have the actors or directors or whoever coming out and attacking fans, that's when people start criticizing the game even more. Because if you had such confidence in your game, you would say, hey guys, look, we understand that some things are not to your liking, but just give the game a chance. No, instead they come out, you're just a bunch of phobes and isms. You're a bunch of MAGA supporters and far-right extremists and blah, blah, blah. Gee, I can't imagine why people aren't playing the game. When you go tell your fan base to touch grass, and then they do, you can't act, you have no right to be shocked that the game is not performing well. Even when people are calling out the stuff like the bugs in the game, the fact that the romance, like it was written by a 5-year-old, and people who have never been, never flirted with anyone before in their life, even when it's, you have all this valid criticism, and they're still just, oh, you're just a bunch of foes and isms. Well, then don't be shocked when your game fails. That's why we call it Dragon Age the Veilguard, because it failed. So Alex, I mean, providing voice for the Inquisitor for the longest time, but just like BioWare, just shut the fuck up. Okay? You coming out and opening your fucking mouth, it's not gonna help. Blaming the fans rather than acknowledging that BioWare made a shit product. If someone was to just come out and say, hey, yeah, we messed up, that would maybe regain some kind of respect for them. But every time someone comes out, they open their mouth and, oh, it's the fans' fault. Oh, it was just a bunch of phobes and isms, and we did nothing wrong. And, oh, the game would have been better if this... Just keep deflecting. Keep deflecting, take no responsibility whatsoever. No accountability, nothing. Just constantly blame fans. I'm sure it'll work out for you in the end. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.